I know you are happy. You have just received a nursing contract or a new job offer and you are so excited. But wait, before you sign that contract, let me tell you what you should look out for so that you don't fall a victim. Okay. So hey everyone, welcome back again to the channel. It's Dale here and I am your captain. So today we're going to be talking about two types of contract. This first part we're going to be talking about before coming over to Australia, like probably you are signing your first contract, like your permanent job here in Australia, what to look out for before signing, okay? And the second part, we're going to be doing the travel nursing contracts, like what you should look for in your travel contracts before signing your next assignment. If you want to watch for the travel nursing contracts, you can skip the video towards the end, or I'm going to put a timestamp here, so you can just click and watch the travel nursing contracts tips. But let's start with the permanent roles contract. Before coming over to Australia, I was in the UK when I got my first job, okay? What are the things I did or I did not do that you should look out for? The first thing you have to look out for in your nursing contract, permanent roles, is job title. I know it can feel like, of course now it's a registered nurse, but no, if you are in a specialty area, my dear, you want to make sure that your contract states registered nurse in bracket anesthetics recovery, or registered nurse ICU department, or registered nurse mental health. You want that your specialty to be in your contract, okay? Because something happens here in Australia that you can't be employed for one role, and when you get here, they put you in another role. I'm sorry, those are the things we probably don't talk about enough here in Australia, but it's a reality. So the only thing that can fight for you is your contract. What your contract states is what you're going to be doing, because you don't want to be an ICU nurse in the UK and you interviewed for an ICU nursing role and you come over here in Australia and they're telling you, oh, ICU is full, you have to go to the ward. What? How? You're going to be losing all your skills, all your hard work. And if you have a certification in that area, you're going to be losing it. No. So make sure it's in your contract, because that's the only thing you can hold them to by their neck. You people said this. It's in the contract. I need this, okay? So today's video is proudly sponsored by Teddy Blakes. If you're not new to my channel, you would already know about Teddy Blakes. Teddy Blakes, they are an amazing brand that has luxury bags, like good leathers and very affordable. I'm going to be opening this, so let's see what's inside my Teddy Blake bag. Look at this bag of gorgeousness. Designer handbags made in Italy, luxury leather. Each Teddy Blake handbag has been made with you in mind and be an extension of your unique style and flatter your every fashion choice. Maybe I'm going to take this to my next travel contracts, because I've just signed a new contract, guys. Guess which state I am going to. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Oh, no. You tell me in the comment section where you think I'm going to. This is nice. Teddy Blake. Almost. Guys, this is... See, when I open a bag, in fact, not only a bag, like when I open a package, I love the good smell. So, yeah, it smells like luxury. I think this bag is going to be like one of my favorites. See? Beautiful luxury. These bags are so nice and they are very durable. You guys, you know, this is my third Teddy Blake bag and I still have those two for years and they are still as good as new. I'm going to be keeping this as my favorite bag from now on. So make sure you use the link under the description box and order yours as well, okay? Thank you so much, Teddy Blake, for sponsoring this video. The second thing you have to look out for is like your hours. Are you going to be working full-time or part-time? Is it 38 hours? Is it 40 hours? Yes, it needs to be in your contract so that you can be paid your overtime correctly, okay? I've seen situations whereby some people, their full-time hours is 38 hours and then they're not paid overtime for that 2 hours. They'll say, oh, normal full-time hours is 40. No, but my contract says 38. So anything outside 38, I should be paid overtime. But they start you at 40, but that's not what your contract says. So you have to be sure what your contract states if your full-time hours is 38 or 40, so that you can be paid accordingly. The next thing you have to look out for in your contract is how much you're going to be paid. Now, how much you're going to be paid depends on the EBAs, like state, private, public, you know, all that. but it has to be in your contract. Are they following this EBA? Are they following the hospital organization's pay rates? You need to also have information on the particular ABA they're following, and also the rates they're following, so that you know, because sometimes you might come here and then you are being paid something else. Another thing that is linked to your pay is years of experience needs to be in your contract, okay? Now, if you've been following my journey, you remember I told you that you're going to be paid according to your years of experience. So if you are a registered nurse in the UK and you are probably year 5 or year 1 or year 2, when you come over here, you're going to be paid exact same year. So you need to make sure that your contract states your correct years of experience. So if it's 5 years, make sure you're 5 years registered nurse year 5, registered nurse year 6. It needs to be stated clearly, because that's the only way you can be paid correctly. Because sometimes when you come over here, they try to pay you less. Your contract is the only binding thing. Even if they tell you on the phone, make sure that they send it as a contract. Even if they say, don't worry, when we come over, we'll fix it. Don't worry, we'll fix your years of experience. Put it in my contract, okay? The next thing you want to look out for in your contract before you sign that beautiful email that just come into your phone is make sure that it's stated clearly if you are going to be giving any relocation package, relocation bonus. You want to make sure that it's there, how much they're going to be giving you or supporting you towards your relocation. You also want to find out that perhaps you have to leave the company, how much you're going to be paying them back, and the payment plan and all that. It needs to be in your contract, okay, so that when you're leaving or anything happens, you know that, oh, they're supporting you and this is what they're supporting you with, this is what you're going to pay back, or if you're not going to pay back anything, it needs to be in your contract, okay? Right. The next thing you have to look out for in your contract is exact place of work. I know this might seem simple. Oh, this is the hospital that is employing me, but you know how we have NHS umbrella and some smaller hospitals are under a particular trust. I'm using the NHS because it's the easiest way to explain. You know how it is, right? So you have maybe London Trust, and then some other small hospitals are under London Trust. You know, that kind of environment. The exact location where you are going to be working, your primary place of assignment, needs to be specified. So if they tell you London Trust in brackets, is it going to be in this hospital or this hospital or this hospital? I don't know if people understand, but I know if you see your contract, you know what I mean. So the exact hospital needs to be specified, because I have seen cases whereby they say in bracket London Trust, for example, and they send you to another of their branch because your contract says London Trust. And for real, yeah, it's an umbrella. You have to work in all their hospitals, which is not sustainable, and it might throw you off balance. So your contract needs to say the exact location, your primary place of assignment. So if anything happens, again, hold them by their neck, okay? Right. So those are the main things you should look out for in your permanent role contract you're signing. If you have any other tips to add for people coming over, please make sure you put it under the comment section. I'm happy to read for you. Let's go back to the short-term contracts, the travel nursing contract, agency contracts. Depends on what you want to call it. Okay. If you're going for a travel contract, of course, the first thing you want to know is the location. In fact, everything I've stated in the first bits applies here, except where not applicable. So you want to know your location, you know, where you'll be working, and if you're going to be a general travel nurse or just anywhere, or ED or IT. It usually depends on your specialty. But most of the times, if you go to the small areas, you might have to work anywhere, like literally any word that is short-staffed, because as a travel nurse, the game is a little bit different. You are there to cover up shortage, and the thing is, you need to be flexible. So even if you're a pediatric nurse and they need you in adults, you just have to be flexible, because that's why they're paying you so much to be in a place. But there are still some things that needs to be in your contract, like how much you will be paid per hour, because with travel contracts, it's paid per hour, right? Even normal, it's paid per hour. So you have to make sure that your contract states how much you'll be paid per hour. If you'll be paid overtime, you know why? Sometimes your travel contract might not state that you'll be paid overtime. And yeah, in general, you are supposed to be entitled to overtime. But every state is different, guys, in Australia. So it depends on the state you're going to and the exact agency you're using. So make sure you clarify that, so that when you go to a place and then you're doing overtime, but you're not going to be paid overtime rates, it might not be worth it, okay? So you want to make sure that your contract states that you will be entitled to overtime, and also how much is your base rate, the percentage. Is it going to be 25, is it going to be 50%, or is it going to be 100%? So it has to be stated in your contract. In your travel contract, it needs to be stated that you're going to be provided accommodation and transport. Yes, it is very important. Some contracts would not provide you that, so it needs to be in your contract if they are providing you that, so that you can hold them by their neck. If it doesn't state that, they'll say, oh no, we didn't promise you accommodation, but it has to be in your contract. They need to tell you if it's going to be on-site accommodation or you're going to be driving to work. Like, everything needs to be in your contract so that you know what to expect. Also, the transportation, usually they will pay for your flight and transport if you're driving there or if you're flying there. But it needs to be in your contract as well, because you can't really hold them back to pay you back, because sometimes you have to pay for the flight and then they refund you, or you drive down there and they refund you your money with receipt. So it needs to be in your contract, because that's the only thing that is binding you to them. In your travel contract, it needs to state how long your contract will be and if it's going to be extendable or not. So usually travel contracts can start from anything from 1 week up to 12 months. I've seen people do 1 year. Can't with those people, but yeah, some people do up to 1 year. So it needs to be stated in your contract. And sometimes they'll tell you able to extend or strong likelihood to extend your contract. Extending your contract is solely up to you. If they tell you this contract is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it is what it is. Sometimes they might cut off your contract short, but they'll pay you for the inconvenience or whatever. But usually they keep to their contract. As per my experience, they usually keep to their contract, and they even ask you to extend for most of the cases. Okay. Usually, if you are someone that has medical issues that you cannot work nights, because I've seen some cases where the person cannot work nights. So if you have that kind of situation, please make sure that it's stated in your contract that you're going to be doing day only or PM only, or like you need to be in your contract so that you can as well hold them to that. This is because when you go for travel contract, most of the times they expect you to cover any shift. And if you are okay with that, you don't need to have that in your contract. But if you have any health implications, like if you are ill and you know that you can't be doing night shift for health reasons or any related issues, let them know and let it be in your contract, so that if you sign the contract and you go there, the manager for that unit might not be the one that interviewed you, or manager might not be aware, but you can tell them, okay, I know you are giving me 9 shifts, but in my contract it stated that I can't do 9 shifts because of my health. And this is also applicable for permanent roles as well, if you have health reasons. But usually during your interview, they're going to ask you all this, and you should be able to tell them yes or no, I can do nights or not. Okay. But yeah, these are the main things you should look out for in your contract before signing. I feel like those are the most important things. I don't know if I've missed anything, both in travel or permanent role. Let me know in the comments what you think about these tips I've given, and I'll see you guys in my next one.